What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Celio's network for the top 16 game of the Sunday Open on May 10th, 2020, which is a tournament I played Dragapult VMAX Malamar in this past weekend. So I went into top cut at 6-1. There were 100 players, so they did a top 16 cut. All of the rounds are best of one aside from finals, so this is another best of one match for top 16. And the matchup is Dragapult VMAX Malamar versus Dragapult. I can't exactly remember if there's anything special about the opponent's variant of Dragapult, but I guess we'll find that out in just a moment. First, shout out to PotownStore.com, best place to get ptcgo codes online, and you can use code Celio for 5% off. And also mentioning my Patreon, patreon.com/Celios Network, where you can support my content monthly and get some great benefits like premium articles and deck discussion and meta discussion and stuff like that with me. So let's start watching this gameplay from top 16 of the Sunday Open. If you're interested in entering the Sunday Open in the future, there will be a link in the description down below to the Discord that the Sunday Open is held in. So my opponent just attaches a basic psychic energy to Dragapult and passes. And my hand is not good. I get to go attach basic psychic instead of horror because I'm afraid of Tina on the other side and just smack them for 30. So pretty similar start from each of us here. We both have a Dragapult in the active with a basic psychic energy. At least I can get turn 2 Dragapult guaranteed. So I do have that going for me. They've got Energy Spinner for a basic psychic. And Quick Ball here. So they might not have the best hand either. Quick Ball away a Giant Bomb, since that's pretty useless in the mirror match. And they're going to grab an Inkay. So it is Dragapult Malamar versus Dragapult Malamar. And they have a Cynthia, so seems like they had a fairly decent start here, but can they get a Dragapult VMAX into play? Just another Quick Ball. Okay, so they might be going for a Dedenne here, trying to draw into a Dragapult VMAX. We'll have to see, but at least I do have a Dragapult VMAX guaranteed for next turn. That's the one thing I have going for me here. So Quick Ball out a Mew to Quick Ball it away here, so they're thinning out the deck. They really want to get this Dragapult VMAX into play. So Quick Ball away the Mew, Quick Ball away the Jirachi, get a Dedenne, and draw 6. Hopefully, yep, there we go. Got the Dragapult VMAX. And I don't have a bench, so they're just going to swing for 130. Okay, so I do top deck a Quick Ball here. That could definitely be good for me. I could get a Dedenne. I could just do nothing. I could just evolve this Dragapult VMAX, attach energy, and swing. So I opt to Quick Ball away the switch. And so here I could get a Zigzagoon and just guarantee knocking out that Inkay. Or I could get a Dedenne and try to draw into the Zigzagoon off of the Dedenne. I decide to go with the Dedenne, draw some more cards, try to get the Zigzagoon as well. I would get a guaranteed prize card here if I searched out the Zigzagoon to put a damage counter onto the Inkay, knock it out. Here I'll put down the Tina, even though it doesn't benefit me right now. It's better than discarding it because I can just scoop up net it later to use it. So I don't draw into a Zigzagoon here yet, but I do draw into supporters, and I haven't played a supporter yet, the whole game yet, so I can play a supporter here if I want to. I could bench Inkay, of course, then my Inkay is liable to get Zigzagoon knocked out by Max Phantom. Mysterious Treasure here to get a backup Dragapult V. So my board is potentially going to be a little more developed than theirs, but they can kind of match it and get their own Dragapult V next turn. Bench the Inkay, and then do I Marnie here? I put them down from 5 to 4, and I can look for the Zigzagoon. So I think the biggest thing here is I can look for the Zigzagoon with the Marnie. Still don't get it though. So just Max Phantom. And I'll probably put 3 on the Dene, 2 on Inkay here. So if they like scoop up net the Inkay, the damage isn't all wasted. I think 3-2 is the right thing to do here. I would really like it if there was like a moving counter for placing these counters on the bench, like with arrows. So once you click a counter on a Pokemon, you could still move it to somewhere else if you wanted to, but so I put I believe I put 3 on. It's kind of hard to see the numbers, but I believe I put 3 on Dedenne and 2 on, yeah, okay, I'm looking on my other screen. 30 on Dedenne, 20 on Inkay. Mysterious Treasure away a stamp, which is not a card that you see in every Dragapult list. And they do have a Tina, so I'm going to lose my horror energy. That's okay. I have another Dragapult V on the bench. I have Inkay down, so let's see if this Inkay lives. If this Inkay lives, they don't have a Zigzagoon, then I should be at a pretty nice advantage because I can get 2 energy onto the board this next turn. So yeah, no Zigzagoon from them. They're just going to Tina, get rid of my energy, and smack me with Max Phantom. Let's see where the damage goes for Max Phantom. Okay, so 4 onto the Inkay and 1 onto the Dragapult V. That way, if I do evolve into Malamar, a 5 will 5 damage counters will be a clean knockout there on the Inkay. They didn't put the full 5 because if I were to scoop up net or something, then the extra damage counter gets wasted. So I think it's the most resourceful to do what they did there. And note they did not get a Dragapult V down. They actually attached an energy to Dedenne there on the bench. No Dragapult V. So they have 160 damage on this Dragapult V Max. I would need Zigzagoon Scoop Up Net to knock out the active, I believe, here. No, actually, I would need Zigzagoon Scoop Up Net to knock out the active here. So it looks like that's probably not going to happen here. But I can knock out the Inkay. I can put the active Dragapult VMAX at 30 HP left. I'm deciding whether I evolve this Malamar or do I scoop up net the Inkay and heal it. But I think it's better to evolve it. If it gets knocked out, it gets knocked out. I get this extra energy into play. That's what really matters. And then I could just scoop up net the Malamar now after evolving it. I'm trying to decide if scoop up netting the Malamar is worth it. If I care if they put the 5 damage counters there, is that worth the scoop up net? And we're going to go with it. I think that's a good play. We just healed 4 damage counters off of the bench. We can put down a Jirachi for after this Dragapult's knocked out if we want to. I think those were the best plays there. So There's definitely a lot of lines of plays. There's multiple lines of play most of the time with the Dragapult decks because for multiple reasons. Because of the scoop up nets, there's a lot of sequencing to make sure you're doing optimally with the Stellar Wish, the Guru, Mewtwo, Psychic Recharge, when to scoop up net, when to attach energy, and then your supporters for turns. And then also because you can spread out the damage counters on the bench however you like. That leaves a lot of room for either good play or bad play or somewhere in the middle. So there is this is a deck that I do recommend practicing a lot before you compete with it, because there are matchups you want to figure out, math that you want to kind of remember, like, oh, if I put 3 on this now and then 2 on it later from a horror energy, it only needs this much more to knock it out, kind of thing. So it saves you time in the long run if you put some repetition into popular matchups with the Dragapult VMAX variants. So this is actually very important. They scoop up netted the Tina to remove the horror energy, so the Dragapult VMAX wouldn't go to 10 damage left, and I could just Zigzagoon it for the knockout. So that's very, very important to note that they were able to do that, but they don't have a backup Dragapult V, so that was very unfortunate for them not to have that. And it looks like I can just take the game from here pretty much. Knock out their Dragapult VMAX. They don't have a backup Dragapult V. I'm going to put up the Jirachi, and I could always just use the Malolana to switch it out if I had to. Here we're going to Viridian away the Mew for a Psychic Energy. And Stellar Wish into an Escape board. And we're going to Primate Wisdom Malamar to the top of the deck. So I wonder if I'm considering a Research here. I think a Research could be fine. But it's not necessary. I have Quick Ball in my hand that can get Mewtwo next turn. So we can just Mewtwo if there's... Actually, I'm not sure if I have Boss's Order in the discard pile. We'll have to see the next time I look at my discard pile. But actually, that the Dene is very close to being knocked out on the bench. I would just need Zigzagoon Scoop Up Net. And then I could just put 5 damage counters on it while it's on the bench and knock it out to win the game. So the Dene is very damaged. Like I said, they don't have a Dragapult V, so this game is 99% going my way here. I'm not really sure that there's a way they could come back from this unless they were playing some mirror techs. Maybe a Hoopa here. I'm trying to think. Hoopa does 10 plus 20 for every ability, so they could do 180 with a Hoopa's Evil Admonition here, I think. I'm just trying to spitball some ideas potentially that they could do to come back in the game, but so here's a Bite. So I can't actually knock out a Dragapult V here with Dragapult V Max, but what I can do is probably just win the game by knocking out the Dene. So the Mewtwo is not in the deck, so I can't Mewtwo for Boss's Order here. I actually forget if it's prized or discarded, the Mewtwo, but it's not there, so we have to do it this way. And we're just going to Viridian Forest. Both Boss's Orders are also in there, so we couldn't not Mewtwo for a Boss's Order anyway, because none of them are in the discard pile. Here we're just kind of emptying my hand a little. And Research looking for a Scoop Up Net. And we don't get a Scoop Up Net, so we're going to try thinning out the deck and then using Primate Wisdom. 12 cards in deck, and I think there's 2 Scoop Up Nets in there. So we're going to see. if we can draw into one of the scoop up nets, put a Marnie on top for next turn. No scoop up net still. So just swinging again. And realistically, we probably win, even though we didn't win this turn. Like, that's how far ahead we got because my opponent couldn't get a Dragapult V Max or Dragapult V down as a backup earlier on. So again, unless they're playing some sort of hard tech for the mirror that's kind of unexpected, something like a Hoopa, which I believe would be able to knock me out here for 1 energy. The Hoopa from Unified Mind is what I'm referring to. Or if they're playing Super Scoop Ups for their Dedenne, or maybe switched and Malolana their Dedenne, if they even had more cards in hand. And they're just gonna play down a Shrine of Punishment and let it knock out their Dedenne. Go down in style there. So yeah, kind of unfortunate game from my opponent there. They were not able to get that backup of Dragapult V, like I mentioned, while they were swinging with their initial one. And although we had a fairly rough start, we came back from it just fine. We had the turn 2 Dragapult V Max, and that's kind of all that mattered there, just because even if we get a slow start in the mirror, they can't really go aggressive enough to punish us for it because Dragapult V Max only does 130 to the active Pokemon. So we won our top 16 game there, and moving on to top 8 with a total record of 7-1 at that point now. So be sure you're catching all of the gameplay from the Sunday Open. There should be a playlist link in the description down below for rounds 1 through 7 in Swiss and all of the top cut games I played. And I will also be getting up a deck profile for the deck that I played eventually. It was also featured in an article over on my Patreon if you're interested in that at all. Last quick shout out to PotownStore.com. Like I said, my sponsor. And if you're looking for ptcgo codes, they have a wide selection and a large stock. Use code Celio for 5% over there. Subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed the content and you'd like to see more like this in the future. And I'll see you next time here on Celio's Network.